There's a quiet movement happening around the world. Small towns fighting for survival. As populations age and younger generations move to cities, many rural communities are left with empty homes, quiet streets, and a future in question. But some towns are getting creative. From homes that cost just $1 to outright cash incentives, they're finding ways to bring life back into their communities. One such place? Albinen, a tiny Swiss village perched high in the Alps. In 2017, Albinen made international headlines for its bold offer, money to move there. 25,000 Swiss francs per adult, 10,000 francs per child. Sound too good to be true? Well, there were a few conditions. You had to be under 45 years old, commit to living in Albinen for at least 10 years, and invest at least 200,000 francs in property. So I went to Albinen to see for myself what it's really like. Getting to Albinen was an adventure in itself. I flew into Geneva and hopped on a train right at the airport. 2 hours and 15 minutes later, I arrived in Luik. The ticket cost me about $50, including a transfer to a local bus. And let me tell you, the ride? Absolutely stunning. It felt like traveling through a painting. But here's the tricky part. Once you arrive at Luik Bahnhof, you only have a 4-minute window to catch the bus to Albinen. Miss it, and you're stuck waiting over 2 hours for the next one. I was surprised to see just a small bus, not your typical transit vehicle, but that makes sense. With only around 260 people in Albinen, there's no need for anything bigger. The bus ride up? Breathtaking. 20 minutes of tight turns and sweeping views of the Alps. It's hard not to fall in love with the scenery. I stayed at Haus Rodania, one of just 3 hotels in Albinen. For 120 Swiss francs, about $145, I got a clean, cozy room that felt more like staying in someone's alpine cabin than a hotel. Arriving around 3 p.m., the calm hit me immediately. Everywhere you look, it's like a postcard. By May, the snows melted from the peaks, revealing lush green mountains. But as beautiful as it is, it's quiet. Very quiet.
They say that they are just in the middle of the mountains. This part, they say that it has a lot of sun.
Albinen has over 200 houses, but many are vacant. Some are vacation rentals, others just storage. The streets are clean and the infrastructure is top-notch, but you rarely see anyone outside. I spoke to a few locals. Most of them work in nearby Luik, about 30 minutes away. Albinen itself only has 2 grocery stores, a Catholic church, and 3 restaurants. On Sundays, everything is closed. When I arrived, even the restaurants were shut, but the hotel staff was kind enough to cook me dinner, pasta and salad made with locally farmed vegetables. Farming here only happens 4 months out of the year, but it's a big part of daily life. Goats and cows provide milk and cheese, and many locals keep their winter supplies in secondary homes. They've got their own spring water, breathtaking views, and a peace that's hard to describe. It's an ideal place for nature lovers. But is that enough to attract new families?
You can take the bus and go to a train station that is in the city of Luik, and from there take the train. And even for going to Geneva, from here it's only 3 hours. So it's not that far. You're not that disconnected. Most of the people, they have cars and they can move around very easily. There's roads. Everything looks very modern actually, but just in the mountain. I think that a lot of people would like to live here. A lot of people would like to have these views, have this quiet place.
After the relocation program launched, more than 12,000 people applied, but only 38 individuals, including 11 kids, were approved. In total, the town paid out 880,000 francs in grants. A big investment, but was it worth it?
Some of the people think that the program is going to end very soon because they say that it's not working. I talked to some people that they just move in and they didn't get any incentive from the government. They told them that they have to live in here 5 years They will evaluate their case and they will decide if they can get the money or not. For them, they say that it's not worth it to wait, but they just wanted to live here. Some people came from Zurich, some people came from Bern, it's another city, and some people came from Germany. And they are creating a community. They just want to live from the environment. They want to have their own crops, they have their own garden, storage, they have an hotel, and they are managing, and that's the way that they are living. They really like the place. It's wonderful. The view that you will have, it will be amazing.
5 years later, Albinen has grown. Not by thousands, but it's no longer shrinking. Some homes that were once vacant are now alive with families. Kids play in the yards, and while the town is still incredibly quiet, it doesn't feel quite as ghostly as it once did. And the attention Albinen received, that brought more than just new residents. Tourists, curious about the famous offer, started to visit.
Now that the program started, there's a lot of tourists coming to this area, but they say that they like it. The people are very nice, they are very kind. Everybody try to help, everybody try to have a conversation with you, and that is very important. I really like places where the people are happy. I think that the people that live in here, they are very happy, they are really enjoying this area. Well, it's something to consider.
Local businesses and accommodations saw a boost, so was Albinen's plan a success? Maybe not in numbers alone, but in spirit, in visibility, in giving this beautiful mountain village a future? Absolutely. Switzerland is truly a dream destination for many. Some would even say it's the #1 place on earth. And when you look at these views, it really does feel like heaven on earth. As someone that has always lived in big cities most of my life, I can't help but wonder, will I really move here? What would I do every day? And how long would I really last living in the middle of the mountains? These are the questions I'll be thinking about. And maybe you will too. Let me know in the comments. Would you take the 40,000 francs and make the move?